Hello and welcome to today's tutorial. In today's topic, we will be treating how to trigger an event on another web element. In other words, how to simulate an event. Um, we'll be doing this in React, okay? There is a keyword we need to use called the ref, and React provides that. Okay, so the ref basically The ref basically is is a short form of the word reference, which just references the DOM elements for manipulation. So we'll do this using the React class component. So let's dive in. Okay. So come here. One thing to note: we will not be using a web editor. Instead, we'll be using an online resource code which I found called playcode. So io/react, okay, which is nice, at least for little things like this. So we're going to do this using a class component first of all. So we have our app.jsx, which is like our central file, importing from index. Then we have our style, but we'll not be styling anything to just make the this example so simple. Okay, so to convert this into, this is obviously a functional component. We'll be treating these topics later, but today we'll make this a class component. So this is export class app. We'll delete this, then extends. Okay, we can just extend. It's on my spelling. React. Okay, let's do this. Not that it matters much. Pure company. Okay, and for a class we need a render. Okay, so I can just delete this, then paste this here. So there we go. So yeah, I'll render and I'll return. Okay, so what do we want to do? Our example is simple. We want to create a text box and a button, and when we click the button, a click on the text box should be simulated. In other words, we will not click the button, we will not click the text box, but a click will be generated on the text box as a result of a click on the button by we, the user. Okay, so yeah, that should make sense, and that sounds straightforward. Okay, we're styling nothing, like I said. Now this is how it will be. First we create the inputs. First we create the input. Second, we create the button. Okay. So remember, there will be two clicks. Why? Because first of all, when they click on the button, okay, so let's first create that on click equals something. Okay, then input. The way did they click on input? Yes, we need an on click event on input for the reason, for a simple reason. The reason is this: a function will be attached to the click of this input. So when they click on a button, is when there is a click event on a button, that function that will be attached to the onClick on the input is what will trigger. So we need the onClick here to should just rest nice and fine. Then of course it's time to create our function. So we'll create a very simple function. Okay, first of all we need a constructor. This is just basic React stuff. We need a super. Then we want to create a let's just call it a global variable. Okay, so what would this variable be? Like I said, we'll use the React reference or React ref, and that ref is what would create a reference to what exactly we need. You can think about the ref like you're assigning, like you're just assigning a ref to whatever element you want to reference, and voila, you have whatever you need to manipulate that element. So this is how it will be. We want a reference to the text box, which is the input. So you can say this to text box. Of course, they will need React dot create ref. Okay, there we go. So you can see so just to explain, I can say this creates a reference to the input. Okay, there we go. So now what do we want to do? First of all, we want a click on the button. So what do we name this? We can call this, what do we call this? Okay, let's call it focus input. I don't know if that name really makes the most sense, but yeah, focus input. Okay, then we need another function, and this function will be the click on the text box itself. So we can just say text box mm, text box click. Does that make sense? Okay, let's just say alert. Let's just say alert text text box. Hey, text box value. Okay, yeah, there we go. There we go. Okay, so our focus input. No, let's think of what we want to do. Let's make something visible. So I'll just say trigger event on input. Okay, I'm having an error somewhere. Where's my error? Okay, it's an unexpected something. Export close up. Where's my error? Okay, let's continue though. And, where's the error coming from? Okay, so I think because we've not created something here. So on input on click, I can say this dot alert text box value. Then on this, I can say this dot focus input. Okay. I wonder why that was giving us an error. Could have so chilled. Okay, yeah. So trigger event on input. So we have our. If you look at this section here, this web view section, we have our trigger event on input, and we have this is the button here and this is the input here. Okay, so when we click this, we want to click on this automatically. So yeah, so our focus input will do this for us. So what we need to do is to get this reference, when you see this does text box now points to this inputs. Okay, so we want to simply say this dots text box dots current dot click. Okay, so this current is another available reference. You know, um, we need the current is a property that will be attached to the reference, so we always have to access that current with the dot. So it's always like your reference, the current, the click, the hover, the on mouse over rather, the scroll, the on double click, you know, all those events. Yeah, so focus input is taken care of. Then for alert text box value, we can just say, oh, this will be this dot text box dot current dot value. Ah, no, not there. Sorry, cut this off and put it here. So yes, hopefully this works as expected. Let me increase this. So if I click on this, it says cannot read no. Okay, so hopefully, so okay, we have an error somewhere. Okay, so where's our error? So let's think about it. So alert text box value. Okay, the reason we have null is because we have not yet indicated our ref. So what I'm meant to do here is to say our ref equals so we have to pass the ref here as this dot text box. Okay, so that was an oversight. So hopefully it should work now. If I should type in here, okay, okay, I'm to alert, so I'm to say alert this text box value. So I'm to alert that. Okay, so once I click it, there should be an alert which should be empty, and I click OK, and I can type order. Then once I click on trigger event on input, I expect to still see the alert saying, okay, let me type something more reasonable. Let me say alert value of box. Okay, so if I click on trigger event on input, I expect to see a string containing the words alert value of box. So I'll click OK. Now I'll click on the trigger event on input. It tells me alert value of box, and I click OK. And if I click into this text box, I should see the same alert one more time. So alert value of box. So again, that is how we trigger or simulate an event on any web element on a page. If we were to have a second, third, fourth element, we could just create refs. We could create another ref and say, let's say it's another thing. We can say this the form equals react or create ref. So let's say we had a form on, or some other kind of form. Let's just say we can say registration form or something. We could access it this way. Then whatever I want to do with the form, we can easily do it, and like that. So the ref is the main keyword that makes this whole thing work. So you put in the ref and you tie it to the createRef that you create in your constructor method. So one more thing you should know is that you can also pass down the ref into child components. So let's say we had some kind of, let's say, form. Let's just say we had a something like form. Okay, we could have something like this inputs, then we could create another file here, a new file, and call it input.jsx. Then we could open it. Okay, then we could come to our index.app.jsx, and we put our input here. Then we delete that, we create our input, then we create a react file here and say import from react, yada yada yada. Then we just paste and then we import it into our app.js file. So you can pass the refs just the same way we pass props down from parent to child component. So because when you're writing a react application, it will very likely be more complicated than this. This is just a very simple example. Very likely you have nested forms, you have a lot of child components basically, so you can pass them down, you can pass the values of the ref down, so it doesn't matter. Okay, you can have your parent file, you can pass the props to a child component and still pass the same ref again to another different child component, and you would have no issues. Again, on the final note, be very careful when working with this in case your application is a little bit advanced. Like let's say you may have some kind of condition on your elements. Let's say it's a button, okay, and you may disable that button based on some condition in your state, okay, and when you pass the ref down to whatever component you want, and you're trying to simulate a click event, it may be a bit difficult to catch if your button is disabled. Okay, watch out for anything disabled. Any disabled state on any web elements will not um will not trigger a click event or a similar event on that element, and it's something that you may just miss completely. Okay, and it can take a bit of time to, so just be careful how you work with it. Okay, yeah, it's a very nice stuff to do. So yeah guys, take care. Okay, so till the next tutorial. Okay, thanks for hanging around. Bye.